Well, some teams used to go on about the fact that they were getting a new billionaire coming into the club to save them and dominate Scottish football. Our very own millionaire, billionaire, whatever you want to call him, Mr. Dermot Desmond, was at Celtic Park yesterday. He was pictured with Ange Postecoglou. It's the only thing that the video can be about this morning, but we're going to talk about a few other things, and I'll give you a little laugh about Save Conan land towards the end of the video, so make sure you stick around for that. So yesterday Twitter went into absolute meltdown. Somebody inside Celtic Park did take a picture of Dermot, his son Ross, and Ange Postecoglou. Looks like they're in the reception, so it looks like they've had a meeting of some sort, and they're probably talking about two things. Let's be honest, they're probably talking about his contract situation. They probably had a brief meeting about it. He probably invited them to play golf tomorrow. You know that's what DD does. He comes over, he does his business, and he goes plays golf up in St Andrews, and then he buggers off back out the country. But the fact that the three of them look quite relaxed and it's a friendly conversational manner, I wouldn't read into it too much, that the fact that it's anything negative. I would say it's all positive. They've probably sat down and they've probably had a meeting about what is it they're looking to do this summer, and he's probably been trying to tie Ange up on a bit of a long-term deal just to make sure that everything's okay with him and his family. You've got to remember back, if you look at I'll put back the video, I'll put it back up at the end of this, the video where Ange Postecoglou did the interview, and he said it was when he'd done the Skype call with Dermot, and that was even before Peter Lawwell or anyone at the club got to speak to him, and he basically said to Ange, what do you want to take the job? I'm that convinced by you. What do you want? And he said, nothing, I'll bring myself. So the fact that the two of them are having a meeting, there's nothing to worry about, if you ask me. But the rumour mill did go into absolute meltdown. I think the fact that it'll be absolutely, the owner will be absolutely over the moon the way that what he's done with Celtic. I think Ange Postecoglou will be talking to him about, now there's things that Ange Postecoglou has said before, and it's whether you buy a £2 million player and you sell him for 10 million, or you buy a £10 million player and then you sell him for 20 million. Now you've really got to think about this, because that's what Ange Postecoglou did say, and he will be saying to the pair of them, he said, if you wanted us to make an impact. Now you've got to remember last night in the Champions League also, Man City absolutely destroyed Real Madrid, and it just shows the quality. I mean, Real Madrid were a top side, and the way that they were dismantled by Pep Guardiola, and he will have absolutely loved doing that to them. But yeah, 4-0 for them was something else. Back to the Celtic news. So what can we say about the picture? It's three guys standing in at a reception having a friendly chat. It's like, you want to play golf? Mate, I don't play golf. It's probably went along those lines. As for transfers, he's probably given a war chest, we'll say. A war chest. We'll say it first, because you'll get a laugh at the end of the video. There has been a lot of speculation about players. Ange Postecoglou has obviously said that he has fringe men that he wants out of the club, and he'll give reasons when deciding their fate in the next couple of weeks. You've also got Liam Scales up in Aberdeen. Spoke about him on yesterday afternoon's video. Liam Scales been doing absolutely fantastic. He's flourished under Barry Robson. Barry Robson has said himself that he wants to keep the player. Barry Robson looks to finish third in the league. It's players like that Celtic will want to move on. Do we keep him? Do we not? Does he want? It's one of those things. It's the manager's decision. But I think from what Ange Postecoglou said in the last couple of weeks and months, got to remember back to the AGM, he did turn around and say, don't get too attached to your big stars. And I think that's what DD will love about him, is the fact that it's like, right, if we sell him for 10-15 million, I want to then take that 10-15 million, buy a 10-15 million pound player, and then if we can sell him on in 2 years' time for 20 million, it's the same. It doesn't, the value of the player doesn't actually matter. It's the quality that we're now looking at, and that's what's going to take us to the next level. So with that being said, I'm going to give you a little bit of a giggle now, right? So everything's going hunky-dory at Celtic. 2020 was a light blip, and across the road everyone's jumping ships like rats off a sinking boat. But there is a guy called James Bisgrove, who wants to make them the dominant force in the next 2 years. The fact that Celtic have won 11 of the last 12 championships, whilst Sevco have only done 2 since returning to the top flight in 2016. Now remember, they'll say to us, oh, you've trebles this and treble, right? Sorry, this one goes out to SECC, whatever his name is, and all the other little creepy ones that follow the channel. You've been back in the league since 2016. Celtic have been a dominant force in Scottish football since 2016. That's in fact, right? The fact that he's got liquidated and he's went bust and he's died, we'll forget about that. We'll forget 2016 and backwards, right? Well, we're not really. We'll keep reminding you that you're Sevco and that your club died and you didn't pay the face painter and, you know, all these other things. But since 2016, Glasgow Celtic Football Club have been the most dominant Scottish team. That's fact. It is absolute fact. We had one blip here, okay? One little blip. But the guy who used to be marketing manager, get this, the guy who was marketing manager has now taken over as the new CEO. He was the director of commercial and marketing. Talk's a good talk, in other words, right? He's been at them since 2019 and he's now taken over as the CEO, and we've got a very clear strategy and we want to make it for the football club in terms until 2025. A clear strategy for 2 years. They're going to spend money they've not got again and they're going to go bust. Watch this. Anyway, they have a number of objectives, it says, and they want to be the dominant team in Scotland. Somebody's been smoking. Anyway, on that note, just a little giggle. Go back to the picture of the main men at Celtic. The dream team, as we say. And on that note, have a great day, Celtic fans. And Sevconians, just remember, we will never be mastered, and we decide. On that note, have a great day, Celtic fans, all around the world.
Lit. Roll up to the party.